Hello and welcome back to HeroicTalesTv, the YouTube channel that personally bullies Seth MacFarlane. Today I wanted to take a chance to talk about Family Guy again. As you guys know, I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with Family Guy. Over the years, of course, Family Guy has created a number of characters. It's been on the air for 20 years, so of course there's been a lot of additions to their cast. Some of them have been great, and others of them make me want to throw my TV into the trash can. This is why I will be taking some time to talk about 5 of the Family Guy characters that I cannot stand, 5 being the least hated and 1 being my most hated. With all of that being covered, let's go ahead and get right into things. Coming in at number 5, we have Brian Griffin. Now before you start throwing tomatoes and mean comments at me, let me just explain myself, hear my case out, alright? Now I know Brian is a beloved character, and I can totally understand why. Hell, in the early seasons he was beloved to me as well. But this character has been flanderized into oblivion, and he is absolutely horrible compared to his former self. These days, Brian is really just an unredeemable piece of shit, simply put. In recent years, not only has Brian given herpes to a baby, but he's also manipulated a blind woman into dating him. He's been a deadbeat dad to his son, got an innocent woman in jail. These are all just a few accounts, and what's fucked up is they're not just one-off gags. There are entire episodes dedicated to Brian just being a dirtbag. And I understand it's supposed to be funny, but I don't know, that's what kind of upsets me about modern Family Guy, is so much of the humor is boiled down to, oh, this person's being a dirtbag, isn't that funny?
What is it? What's going on? I heard a noise. Is somebody downstairs?
Oh God, Meg, you startled me, I'm sorry.
What the hell's your problem, you dumb...
And sometimes someone being a dirtbag can be funny, but it's just not, and not with Brian Griffin, because the other aspect of Brian that's really frustrating is the fact that he's arrogant, has this holier-than-thou attitude.
Yeah, well, you don't deserve her, you know that?
Say what now?
You don't deserve her. She does nothing but give and give and give, and you repay her with selfishness and neglect. I mean, you've barely spent any time with her at all on this vacation.
And this is a bit of a holdover from his earlier character, because it kind of worked back then, because he kind of was holier-than-thou, at least compared to the Griffins. Back then he was the straight man. But now he's just as bad as fucking Peter. So it just makes him come off as a arrogant douchebag. And what's fucked up is the show actually knows they're doing this, which is why they have Glenn Quagmire, of all characters, call Brian out on it. And as much as I hate to agree with Quagmire, he's absolutely right with everything he says about Brian.
Okay, I'll tell you. You are the worst person I know. You constantly hit on your best friend's wife. The man pays for your food and rescued you from certain death, and this is how you repay him? And to add insult to injury, you defecate all over his yard. And you're such a sponge. You pay for nothing. You always say, ooh, I'll get you later, but later never comes. And what really bothers me is you pretend you're this deep guy who loves women for their souls when all you do is date bimbos. Yeah, I date women for their bodies, but at least I'm honest about it. I don't buy them a copy of Catcher in the Rye and then lecture them with some 7th grade interpretation of how Holden Caulfield is some profound intellectual. He wasn't. He was a spoiled brat. And that's why you like him so much. He's you. God, you're pretentious. And you delude yourself by thinking you're some great writer, even though you're terrible. You know, I should have known Cheryl Tiegs didn't write me that note. She would have known there's no A in the word definite. And I think what I hate most about you is your textbook liberal agenda. How we should legalize pot, man. How big business is crushing the underclass. How homelessness is the biggest tragedy in America. Well, what have you done to help? I work down at the soup kitchen, Brian. Never seen you down there. You want to help? Grab a ladle. And by the way, driving a Prius doesn't make you Jesus Christ. Oh, wait, you don't believe in Jesus Christ, or any religion for that matter, because religion is for idiots. Well, who the hell are you to talk down to anyone? You failed college twice, which isn't nearly as bad as your failure as a father. How's that son of yours you never see? But you know what? I could forgive all of that, all of it, if you weren't such a bore. That's the worst of it, Brian. You're just a big, sad, alcoholic bore. I'll see you, Brian. Thanks for the...
And this scene, it just confirms the writers know what they're doing, and that makes me wonder why they're continuing to do it. Do they know that it's not funny, or do they think that it's funny to make him just so unlikable? Next up at number 4, we have James Wood. This character is based on the real-life Twitter troll, also known as James Woods, and each episode he is in is just absolutely unbearable for me. I really don't understand what's so funny about him. Like, I just feel like Seth MacFarlane was fucking tickled pink by him for some reason, and because of that, he got brought back episode after episode after episode, when each episode he's in, it's the same thing. James Gunn, I almost called him James Gunn. Jesus, what a fucking Freudian slip there. Where James Woods is just being unbearable for no reason. I mean, it's literally like a caricature of a annoying person. They took the concept of annoying and unbearable and they personified it in James Woods. Somehow, you know, Family Guy is really good at just making insufferable characters.
Ooh, a piece of candy. 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 Ooh, a piece of candy.
Okay, Brian, next time let's remember this right away because he's done this twice.
And what's even more strange is they killed James Woods off. It's almost like they realized he was so unlikable. But then they bring him back, and it's not just like they bring him back because he was killed off for a joke, like Family Guy often does. No, he was like long-term killed off, like for several episodes, and was brought back from the dead, making him one of the few Family Guy characters to ever actually get this treatment aside from Brian Griffin. He's the only character who's been brought back from a final death. Which is just insane to me, because why does he deserve it out of any other? Why does, you know, Muriel Goldman, or whatever Mort's wife's name is, why does she have to stay dead? Why James Woods gets to fucking come back to life? Again, I just think that so much of this joke is like an outside joke that I'm not allowed in on between the creators and the writers of Family Guy and like James Woods or Seth MacFarlane or something. And the joke just goes over my head every time I see the episode. I don't know what is supposed to be funny, exactly. I know I keep making that point, but that's why I dislike so many of these characters, because like I understand that a lot of these characters are going to be bad and they're not going to be good people. And you don't have to be a good person in order to be a good character. But the fact that they are boring, unfunny, and insufferable, which all of these characters on this list are, makes them just so fucking frustrating when I see them. It just makes it so frustrating when I see these characters on the screen. It drives me crazy. Sliding into the number 3 spot is Angela. Now, the only good quality about Angela is that she was played by the late and great Carrie Fisher, and I can't ever fault Carrie Fisher, so I'm faulting her character here. And Angela is also just a pretty terrible character. Seriously, she has very little to offer. She exists only to nag Peter or to occasionally sexually harass him, which isn't very great, generally speaking, you know, it's a pretty bad thing. Again, I know that's another brave YouTube statement I'm saying, but yeah, don't sexually harass people, even in cartoons. It's really not that funny. But when she's not being used for doing something horrible, she exists essentially as a nag, as somebody to call Peter out on his antics in the office. It's like she's essentially the work version of Lois. So it's just kind of like, I'm getting kind of tired of all of these different boss characters for Peter, who essentially just exist to try to keep Peter on the straight and narrow when he's not at home. They're literally just office versions of Lois, all of his bosses. So whenever they use Angela to try to do something that isn't based around work and boring, they just take it to horrible immediately. There's like, you got boring office and then terrible actions that no person should ever do, such as when she says she's gonna kill herself if Peter, a married man, didn't have sex with her.
Griffin?
Angela, what the hell you doing trying to kill yourself?
Oh, why the hell did you pull me out of there? You should have just left me alone. That's how I'm gonna end up anyway.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the fact that I have nothing to live for.
Sure you do. Someday a white man's gonna be elected president again.
Griffin, I haven't been with anyone in 10 years. And when you spurned my advances, it was a wake-up call. Just sleep with me just this once, and it'll give me everything I need. Sleep with me tonight. Save my life. It was exactly what I needed.
If you're threatening to kill yourself to get affection from other people, let me just suggest you stop doing that. Like, that's not great for you or for anybody, really. And you should just cut that out immediately. And again, so it's like, I know that it's a TV show and that we aren't supposed to take these characters' actions seriously, but when the episode is built around, oh, Peter did a good thing because he finally did have sex with her, it just sends this message that is still fucked up and bad. It's like, why even try to include any sort of message if your message is going to be so innately horrible? It reminds me of the episode where Meg has to accept that her getting abuse is the only way that her family functions, and that it's her lot in life to take the abuse. Like, that's just a terrible lesson to put out there. And I know that you're a cartoon and you aren't expecting people to take you seriously, but I still think that a lot of these messages have subconscious effects on people. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. For whatever reason, in the most recent episodes of Family Guy, we have gotten a lot more episodes with Principal Shepard, and they are just painfully unfunny. It's to the point where I wonder if the voice actor like personally went in and asked for some more hours or something, like he needed to get some more time on the clock in the booth, because he is in so many episodes now. It's insane. It's literally like he asked them for more hours or something, because I don't know why, out of all of the random characters they have, this guy came out of the woodwork and is suddenly getting episodes all about him. And again, he is just painfully unfunny. Unlike the usual dysfunctional Griffin family, who at least managed to elicit a chuckle from me now and then, Principal Shepard just comes off as a total jackass with no redeeming qualities. One of my least favorite Principal Shepard episodes is from the 12th episode of the 18th season of Family Guy. It's called Movin' In, Principal Shepard Song. Principal Shepard gets fired in this episode after Peter and Lois rightfully complain that he was bullying their son on the school intercom, mocking their son for being fat and ugly over the school intercom. So they got him fired for it, rightfully.
So we're all decided our last high school play was about as gay as we want to go. Let's try to top out at that level of gay. If there's nothing else,
There's still the agenda item of you fat-shaming Chris Griffin.
I think we can table that. As long as it's a pretty strong table.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, but fat shaming is not okay. This is the year 2020 and nothing is okay. This is the year of instant outrage.
What?
And then, later on in the episode, he acts like he is owed a place to stay by the Griffins since they were the ones who got him fired.
That's right. And it's just first name Shepard now that you've had me fired and I have no income. And now I'm living in my car just panhandling outside Miles Teller movies, which is pretty slim pickings, obviously.
And for whatever reason, they agree. They say they do owe Shepard a place to stay. Like, are you people fucking stupid? Did you forget that you got him fired and that you got him fired because he was being a piece of shit? And like, did you forget that? Could you imagine being in any situation where you have to get somebody fired for treating your child badly at school, and because they got fired, they are now demanding a place to stay in your house, and you agree? Like, I know it's a cartoon, but it's just to the point where this shit is so unfathomable. It's like this is what I mean when I say Family Guy these days is cooked. There used to be like actual good episodes with a solid story, nice character development, and a good lesson at the end of it. Like, early Family Guy had all of that, and somewhere along the way, it's just totally gone. And this episode keeps getting worse, because after he comes and starts staying at the Griffin house, he starts running the place roughshod, acting like he owns it. And I know the joke is supposed to be that he's acting like a principal and everything, but it just still doesn't make sense. It's not a school fucking setting. Peter and Lois aren't in fucking school, so why is he doing this? And then finally, when Peter has enough of it and tells him to get out, they lock the Griffins in the basement, or Principal Shepard locks the Griffins in the basement.
All right, never mind that. Just join me one step over here, yet out of earshot, so I can wrap your knuckles with a ruler.
That's it! I want you out of our house right now! We are sick of you!
What? You're kicking me out? Does everyone feel this way?
Oui, absolument.
Gerard Depardieu.
Well, at least someone's been paying attention. But very well. I'll get out of your hair if you'll all just help me get my things out of the basement.
Wait a minute. He doesn't have his stuff down here.
That's right. Until you all have better attitudes, you're in detention.
Detention!
And says that they need to learn a lesson. Yeah, the Griffins have to learn a lesson about getting people fired, about getting this guy fired who was actually abusing his power and being a piece of shit. And because of that, the Griffins go out and they help get him reinstated at the school. They get him his job back. Isn't that another great lesson straight from the bowels of hell for you? I know, Family Guy writers are really cooking up some special shit these days. Okay, number 1. This is my most hated Family Guy character, and that is the character of Doug. Now, maybe some of my hate for Doug comes from my hate for Jerry and Rick and Morty, but this has just bled over, perhaps, because of the same voice actor. But I just cannot stand this character of Doug. He is a wet blanket draped over Stewie's once mighty character. I remember when Stewie was a diabolical, cunning genius, you know, and that was what made his character interesting and what made him different from like any other baby, like the Simpsons baby or whatever. But no, now he literally might as well be sucking on a pacifier, because every single one of his episodes, especially when the ones that Doug are involved in, are just normal baby shit. Like, oh, can they climb the fucking jungle gym to get the frisbee bat? It's like a Dora fucking episode. Is he gonna win class president? They literally just put him in normal baby situations with Doug. It's like season 1 Stewie, original Stewie, would have fucking literally crucified Doug. They would have fucking put him in the brazen bowl, or whatever the hell it's called, the bronze bowl. This literally, Stewie would have fucking devoured this kid, and now he's all bitchy and whiny, caring about what Doug thinks. I mean, fuck's sake, I don't know what to say, but I do not like this animated child. And my least favorite episode that has Doug in it, Doug brutally kills a cat and then blames Stewie for it. Like, why the fuck am I supposed to like this prick? Why am I supposed to think he's funny? He's just being like a sassy sort of like gay boat kid or whatever, you know what I mean? Like really overly sassy, really like kind of rich and privileged and presumptuous sort of a character that, you know, like shopping and you know, that sort of thing. And I get that it's supposed to be kind of a counter to Stewie's character, but it just, I don't know, it doesn't work for me. It's not funny. It is literally just the worst that Family Guy has created. Probably the worst character in modern Family Guy that has ever came from this show. Not only is Doug a bad character on his own like the rest of these characters, but Doug actually makes an episode bad. Like, it's to the point where I cannot watch an episode with Doug in it because he brings it down that much. It could be the littlest cameo from him, but he is such an unlikable character that he ruins anything that he touches, and I really hope Family Guy quits using him for good and that he doesn't make a comeback.
Off. It turns out 70% of the kids' parents aren't married and 30% are mistakes. Nobody gets married anymore. One kid doesn't even have parents. He just kind of appeared. Sleeps in one of the cubbies. I mean, that's the story I would have told this week, but whatever. Oh, and Doug died in a commuter plane crash this morning.
So folks, with all of that being said, that has been my little rant on 5 characters from Family Guy that I really don't like. Now, I could go on with this series and do other characters and shows. I think I've got a lot to say about some fucking Batman characters that I don't like, you know, Talia al Ghul being at the top of that list. So maybe I will do that some other time. So just kind of keep looking out there for the content. I really like that I'm getting more interaction and everything. Just obviously let me know what you think in the comments. Keep everything polite though. None of these videos are meant to be taken that seriously. It's all in good fun. It's all just, you know, for shits and giggles. But I have been Doc. You've been watching HeroicTalesTv. Make sure to like and subscribe and go watch some more of my videos. I'll see you all next time.